of Virginia, and we are going to win back the White House. Early voting is underway. So you go and send your ballots. We've got to win this November 8th. We've got to win it. This is going to be our last chance, folks. I hate to tell you. This is about it. November 8th. One of the greatest privileges of my journey has been the time I've spent with the evangelical community and the people of faith across our nation. There are no more decent, devoted, and selfless people than our Christian brothers and sisters here in the United States. None. And I happen to be Presbyterian, but that's right. That's good. Protestant. Together, we're going to deliver real change that puts America first. Earlier today, I outlined my contract with the American voter, the steps I will take my first 100 days in office, and the bills I will send to Congress, and these will be bills that will put us on the path of making this country great again. Believe me. In fact, I encourage you, go visit our website and read it. You'll see a lot of good things and a lot of things that will make you very proud and very happy. At the very top of the list is one of the most important promises of all. If I'm elected president, we are going to drain the swamp in Washington, D.C. In the contract, I've put forward a tough new ethics reform that will put the people back in charge of our government. We're going to renegotiate our terrible, and I mean terrible, trade deals, end illegal immigration, stop the massive inflow of refugees, reduce surging crime, cut taxes big league, cut regulations even bigger league, unleash job-producing American energy, cherish and defend faith and religious liberty, and we are going to get rid of the Johnson Amendment. I hope you know what the Johnson Amendment is, because it is a disaster for our great people and for our church. We will also repeal and replace the disaster known as Obamacare. President Obama promised the American people that his plan would be affordable. Instead, health insurance premiums are going through the roof, and companies are being driven out of business, totally out of business. Many companies are being forced to flee the country. They're leaving our country. They're creating jobs in other countries instead. And now Hillary Clinton wants to double down and make Obamacare bigger and worse and much more expensive, and it doesn't get any more expensive. Obamacare is now unaffordable, and so unaffordable that even the Democrats are admitting it. Just this month, the Democratic governor of Minnesota said, the reality is the Affordable Care Act is no longer affordable. And Bill Clinton, who had a rough evening that evening, called Obamacare the craziest thing in the world. He said that small businesses and middle-class Americans are getting killed, and he was telling the truth. This election is our one chance to get rid of Obamacare and the cost of Obamacare. It doesn't work, and it's too expensive. Your jobs will come back under a Trump administration. Your incomes will go up under a Trump administration. Your taxes will go way, way down under a Trump administration. And Hillary Clinton is raising your taxes. Your companies won't be leaving Virginia under a Trump administration. They'll be staying. We will be a strong nation again. We're going to rebuild the depleted military. We have the greatest people on earth, but our military is depleted with the equipment we're using and other things. We are going to totally rebuild our military. We are going to start with the Navy right here in Virginia Beach. as part of our plan to create a 350-ship fleet. Little Creek and Naval Air Station Oceana are going to get a lot busier when I'm president. Get ready. How many people are from there? How many people do we have? Well, that's a lot of people. Norfolk Naval Shipyard is too. Watch. They're going to get very busy, folks. Get ready. They're going to be right at the center of the action of the building of new ships. When it comes to the military, I believe in three very, very important words: peace through strength. But we also need smart strategy. WikiLeaks shows that John Podesta said of Hillary, she has bad instincts. Now, we knew that. Just look at her career. One of her close allies said she doesn't seem to know what the planet and what planet we're living in. Look at her record. She's been there for 30 years, and what has she fixed? Nothing. She unleashed death, destruction, and failure in every country she touched in the Middle East: Iraq, Libya, Syria, Iran. Hillary's catastrophic failures unleashed ISIS, came right out of the vacuum, which is now on a campaign of genocide against Christians in the Middle East and all over the world. I mean, think of what's happened. Think of what's going on. It started as a small group of people, and now ISIS is in 32 countries under her watch. And now you hear that Hillary's going to do something about ISIS. That's not going to happen, folks. That's not going to happen. At home, she failed on the economy, and she failed in upstate New York. Right now, our economy isn't growing at all. We had only around 1% growth last quarter and a horrible jobs report on Thursday. I'm going to get us to a 4% growth and maybe more than that, and create 25 million jobs over a 10-year period. Many workers are earning less today than they were 18 years ago, working harder and longer and making less, and they're older. But I'm working harder and longer, and I'm older too, so I don't feel sorry for you, okay? Some of them are working 2 and 3 jobs, but still taking home less money for them and their families. Companies like Carrier are firing their workers and moving to Mexico. Ford is moving all of its small car production divisions to Mexico. When I'm president, if companies want to fire their workers and leave for Mexico or other places, then we will charge them a 35% tax when they want to ship their new products back into the United States, and they won't be leaving very easily. Hillary Clinton has raised countless millions of dollars from big donors who want to ship our jobs overseas and to other countries. You know that. With that money, she's outspending our campaign in some ways by 50 to 1 in ads. We have markets where it's 50 to 1 and we're tied. It's pretty good, right? Our campaign is going and taking on these big donors. And interestingly, polls just came out today where we're leading in 3 major polls, leading nationwide. So that's good. Despite all of the Wall Street money that's being spent against us, and it's going to take on, and we're going to take on the big donors. We're going to take on big bonus. And I'll tell you what, the big business in this country, and I'm a part of it, but I decided, I've been on the other side. You do know that, right? I understand the other side. It's a very easy side to be on. And I've been there a long time. And I looked out and I said, if I'm going to stay there, I will tell you, our country is in big trouble. Our country's in trouble because it's the wrong thing. I love this country. I didn't need to do this. I love this country, and that's why I'm doing it. And we have a movement going like they've never had before. We have a movement going, folks, like they've never seen before in this country. Get out and vote, though, otherwise the movement comes to an end. Thank you. This is a great, great movement. This is a movement, seriously, like they have never seen before in this country. We are driving them crazy. WikiLeaks even shows the Clinton campaign speaking with contempt about Catholics and evangelicals, and then boasting gleefully about very friendly and malleable reporters who shower the Clintons with praise for no reason. Our system is rigged, and I've been saying it for a long time. And the best evidence is that Hillary Clinton is even allowed to run for the presidency of the United States in the first place. She lied to Congress under oath. She lied to the FBI. And she made 13 phones disappear, some with a hammer. Did anybody out there ever lose their phone with a hammer? Please raise your hand. Nobody. Well, you are a great group of people. By the way, we have two of our great generals, three of our great generals, and we have right here, General Kellogg, raise your hand. Fellas, raise your hand. And we have a man that you've never heard of named Giuliani, the mayor of New York. Come on, get over here, Rudy. Great guy. New York City was not doing well, and it was crime infested. And after a year of Rudy, it was starting to look good. And after 2 years, boy, what a difference. And to this day, what a difference he made. He's something. Great job, Rudy. She bleached and deleted 33,000 emails, and then 2 crucial boxes of email evidence mysteriously went missing. You know, we have a 4-star general who has now got the potential to serve 5 years in prison and pay a massive fine. This was 2 days ago for doing something that was a tiny, tiny fraction of what took place with Hillary Clinton. And it's a sad day for this country, what's going on with her, with the FBI, with the Department of Justice. This is a sad time in the United States, believe me, and you all know it. A Trump administration will end government corruption. We will also end economic stagnation. My plan for the economy can be summed up in 3 very beautiful words: jobs, jobs, jobs. At the center of my jobs plan will be fixing our terrible trade deals. 47 million Americans are in poverty, and 45 million Americans are on food stamps. This is in our country, 45 million. We have nearly an $800 billion annual trade deficit in goods with the world, trade, and the worst so-called recovery since the Great Depression. We also have something else. The murder rate in the United States is the highest it's been in 45 years. Virginia has lost 1 in 3 of its manufacturing jobs since NAFTA, signed by Clinton, a deal that was supported very strongly by Hillary. We've lost, listen to this number, 70,000 factories since China's entry into the World Trade Organization, another Bill and Hillary-backed deal. We're living through the greatest jobs theft in the history of the world. That's what it is. The greatest jobs theft. Our jobs are being taken out of our country, and they're going to other countries all over the world. We don't make anything anymore on a relative basis. We're going to change that around. We're going to start making things again, and it's going to happen fast. A Trump administration is going to renegotiate NAFTA, stand up to foreign cheating, and stop the jobs from leaving our country. We're going to start making things in America. You're going to be so proud of it. As part of our plan to bring back our jobs, we're going to lower our business tax from 35% to 15%, and our businesses will start humming again. We're also going to rebuild our inner cities. For years and years and years, you've heard about this from the Democrats. They get the votes, they don't do a thing. African Americans and Hispanics living in the inner cities are suffering. The violence is unbearable. You walk to the store with your child and you get shot. There's no education, there's no jobs, there's no safety. Nearly 3,500 people have been shot in Chicago since the beginning of the year. Think of that. Since January, 3,500 people have been shot. That's as bad as and worse than some of the war zones you're reading about in the Middle East. Homicides are up nearly 50% in Washington, D.C., and more than 60% in Baltimore. And it's getting worse. To the African American and Hispanic voters, I say, what do you have to lose? Vote for Donald Trump. I will fix it. It can't get worse. I will fix it. We will be a rich nation once again, but to be the country and to be a country of wealth, we must also be a safe country. National security begins at the border. Speaking in secret to a foreign bank, Hillary Clinton said her dream is for a totally open trade, there go your businesses, and open borders, there goes your country. You lose your businesses and your country. Anyone who supports open borders can never be the President of the United States. You will not have a country left. Open borders would be the end of the United States, believe me, as we know it. Hillary's plan includes an open border with the Middle East, meaning generations of radicalism and terrorism spreading and growing within our shores. So let me state this as clearly as I can. If I'm elected President of the United States, I am going to keep radical Islamic terrorists the hell out of our country. We will also stop the crisis of illegal immigration. A Trump administration will secure and defend our borders. And yes, we will build a wall, and we will stop drugs from pouring into our country. We have the first ever endorsement from ICE and our Border Patrol officers. First time they've ever endorsed a presidential candidate. And they're great people. They want to do their job. They're not being allowed to do their job. As Secretary of State, Hillary Clinton allowed thousands, all over, thousands of criminal aliens to be released because their home countries wouldn't take them back. Think of it. It was just reported that a man deported from our country 10 times in 6 years has been charged with raping a 12-year-old girl. In August, Texas police arrested a serial illegal immigrant rapist who had been deported 5 times. His victims included one 68-year-old woman with a cane who took his offer to have a drive to her home. He left her on the side of a dirt road in horrible, horrible condition. A 64-year-old Air Force veteran, Marilyn Ferris, was raped and beaten to death with a hammer by a repeat offending criminal illegal immigrant who should have been deported under the Obama administration, but never was. Should have been deported, but never was. What kind of a government allows its citizens to suffer like this? And believe me, there is tremendous suffering going on. We have people from the Remembrance Project here, and you just have to look at Remembrance Project. These are amazing people. These are amazing people. Amazing people. So many, and it's growing so fast, and that's a bad thing. That's a bad thing. Either we win this election or we lose our country as we know it today. A victory in November will be a victory for you, the American people. In closing, here are some of the amazing things we're going to do for our country starting in 2017. We are going to have, I love you too. He sounds like a rough guy, but I love him, whoever he is. We are going to have the biggest tax cut since Ronald Reagan, even bigger. We'll eliminate every unnecessary job-killing regulation. We will defend religious liberty. We're going to provide school choice to every low-income child in America. And we are going to end Common Core and bring education local. We will support the men and women of law enforcement. We're going to rebuild our depleted military and take care of our wonderful, wonderful veterans who have not been properly taken care of. We're going to save the Second Amendment, which is under serious attack. And we will appoint justices to the United States Supreme Court who will uphold and defend the Constitution of the United States. You have 17 days, that's all. You know, I started this a year and a half ago. It was on June 16th in Trump Tower, coming down the escalator with Melania. I saw downstairs, I said, wow, this is going to be something. Who knew this was going to happen, right? Who knew? We had 17 people running. We won. Now we have one left. Crooked Hillary Clinton. One. So you have 17 days to make every dream you ever dreamed of for your children, for your family, for your country to come true. Our campaign is powered by our love for this country and our love for our citizens. It's a campaign about rejecting the cynicism and elitism of our failed political establishment. I'm going to fight for every citizen of every background from every stretch of this nation. I'm going to fight for every child living in poverty. I'm going to fight for every mom and every dad who lost her child or his child to illegal immigration and drugs and gang violence, and it's happening all over. I'm going to fight for every community whose jobs and factories have been ripped out of the states, like Virginia, and shipped to other countries. We're going to fight for your jobs. And they have not done that for many, many years. I'm going to fight for every person in this country who believes government should serve the people, not the donors and not the special interests. And I'm going to fight to bring us all together as Americans. Imagine what our country could accomplish if we started working together as one people under one God, saluting one American flag. Well, you're going to look back in 10 years, in 20 years, in 30 years, and you're going to look at this rally, and you're going to remember it for the rest of your life. Because this will be the beginning. This is a movement like has never been seen before. You're going to look back at the election, and you're going to remember November 8th, because your country is going to be a country that starts winning again. We don't win anymore. When was the last time? We don't win against ISIS. We don't win against anything. Look at Mosul. For years I've heard that's where the ISIS leaders are. They're staying at Mosul. So what do? Instead of element of surprise, what do? What a disaster. What a disaster. We don't win anymore. We're not the smart people because of our leadership. We are going to start winning again, bigger and better than ever before. You're going to look back at this election and say this is by far the most important vote I've ever cast for anyone at any time, because we started winning again, and we started winning with heart. And remember the words, religious liberty. That's a very big part of winning. That's a very, very important part of winning. And our religious liberty is being trampled on, and we can't let that happen. We can't let that happen. So you're going to look back, and you're going to be proud of your country again, and hopefully you're going to be proud of your president. Because we will make America wealthy again. You hate to say that. A woman came up to me and said, Mr. Trump, it's not nice when you say you're going to make America wealthy or you're going to make America rich. I said, I agree, but we have to do that in order to do what we have to do. She said, but could you please refrain from saying it? And she's a fan. I said, no, we have to make America wealthy again. I hate to tell you. I'd like to say no, but we have to. We will make